Hello and welcome back to the Fourth and Five podcast, episode 1 of the 2023 season. We're back at it. I'm with Robbie. I'm with Mo. Guys, how we doing?
Hey, Gabe, doing well. Very excited for a Penn State football season in 2023. Cannot wait to talk some Penn State football with you guys.
Football's back, man. It's so back.
So back. We are so back. Yeah. So 2023 last year. Very nice Rose Bowl win. Very nice goodbye, Sean Clifford. I actually stood up and gave him an applause because he, after being not great for 7 years as a starter, he had his moment. So I think this year we are very excited. We're expecting great things from this team. I don't really know exactly what you guys are expecting, but I'm expecting great things. So I guess we'll just start with the most important part of it. Drew Allers, QB1.
Expectations is kind of the theme of this team at the moment. Like, this is probably the highest Penn State I've been on a team since 2017, coming off a Big Ten championship. But in talking about expectations, the last two times that we've had a first-year starter at a quarterback was 2016, Trace McSorley, and that resulted in a Big Ten championship and a Rose Bowl loss, 11-3. And then we had the 2019 Cotton Bowl victory, which is an 11-2 year out of Sean Clifford.
Mm-hmm.
So to say that QB, you can't win with a freshman QB, I think is crazy, especially with the talent surrounding this guy. I mean, all he has to do is take care of the ball. Just take care of
it. We don't need him to be anything, we need him to be a step more than Sean, if even that. I mean, I think Sean could lead this team. This is the best Penn State roster that I've seen in my lifetime. So I think we don't need him to go out there and be Superman. He just has to be, live up to a little bit of the expectations that we have for him and just, like you said, take care of the ball and just make the correct reads. I think he doesn't have to be anything spectacular than what we think he is. So,
there's a chance he's spectacular. No, incredible. Because he looked good when he did play, when he had his moments. And then I think that, again, Trace started as a freshman. Sean's first-year starter. I don't think those guys were as highly touted, though, coming into this and out, like Aller. Aller's the golden goose. Like, he's supposed to be the guy. And then I think he has the capability. But again, we don't need him to be Superman. He just needs to be a baby step better than Sean, take care of the football. Don't be a baby and just be okay, and we'll be all right.
He needs to do one of two things: beat Ohio State or beat Michigan. If he does one of those, then it's a great year.
Yeah.
As long as we take care of business in the other 10 games, which we should.
Yeah. There's we'll talk about it later, but there's a very high possibility of a three-way tie at the top of the East. And then behind Aller, Singleton and Cage Hunter back, joined by Trey Potts from Minnesota. These guys were
local guy.
Singleton and Allen. Yeah. Singleton and Allen were so good last year. It's kind of crazy to think that this year they could be even better, which would be absolutely nuts.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to me that Trey Potts chose to take on this backfield in a battle for number one. I guess, he knew he wasn't going to be the starter, but, he's going to come in here and hopefully get some reps and be probably, I would assume, a third down back. He's kind of got that K-Tron. He's a little bulkier. He'll probably get more short yard situations. But I'm very excited that we have him in the backfield. I think it's kind of a three-headed dragon situation now. It's not just Nick and K-Tron. They can take a little relief. But yeah, Trey Potts is, that veteran guy that's going to come in and hopefully be a leader and take some reps. So I'm excited for him.
Yeah. Like I said, local guy, Williamsport. I remember Trey Potts in high school. I remember watching him play and wrestle. Kid's just an athlete, purely just an athlete. Obviously, he's had dealt with a couple injuries. since those days. But I think Trey, he knows. I mean, he's a vet at this point. He's been in a college weight room. He's been in a college system. He knows what
Big
his
Ten
goal
system.
is. He knows, hey, I don't need to do everything. I need to do my job and do it well. And I think that's a good guy to have. I mean, especially when we have, you have Singleton, who's just a home run hitter. I mean, that's just what he is. You have Katron, who I also just found out he was on that IMG team that played Bishop Sycamore.
I did not know that.
I just realized that yesterday because he's in the documentary and he scores a touchdown and he does the head bash thing. And I'm like, oh my God, that's fucking Cage.
What was the score of that game? Like 72-0?
Yeah, something like that.
50. That documentary is nuts, but
yeah, it was hilarious. But yeah, I mean, he's there. And then you also have, the two freshmen coming in, Landon Montgomery out of Scranton Prep. Tore his ACL last year, so missed his senior season. But everything I'm hearing out of camp is that, he's come in and he's been ready, and they're seeing a lot of those flashes that they did see in his junior high school season. I don't really see him pushing for playing time, but the kid I do see that could push for some playing time could maybe be a return man, Cameron Wallace. Kid's out of a just
It's got some
middle of
speed.
nowhere school in Georgia and just can fly. 5'9", 175. And I've heard that, within the program, they love this guy. He's a dog in the weight room. Just could really push for some snaps, early as a true freshman, which would be great for him. Just brings another layer to that offense. Doesn't all have to be on Drew's arm.
Yeah, I mean, and also, I feel like last year they would like run out Singleton and Katron and kind of do a rotation. And they would always have a third back, whether it be I honestly forget his name, but they always had a third back they'd run out, but you never really knew who he was and like what he would give you. And I think it was Lovett 2 years ago.
Well, last year you had well, what's his face? But then he got hurt, and now he transferred to Mississippi State. Why can't I think of his name? And then you had Tank Smith.
Yeah, Tank Smith.
He's still here, isn't he?
He's still here.
I picked him in a CFP grid the other day for like 0.03%.
It's funny, actually.
Why can't I think of?
Yeah, I mean
Mississippi. Whatever, but
well, it's not a big deal. We'll find it. But
yeah.
I mean, a lot to be excited about the backfield. Like last year was awesome to watch. This year,
Kevon
Lee. Yeah, Kevon Lee. That's who it was. Lovett was 2 years ago, and then Kevon Lee was like the pass guy. Got it. Okay. Yeah. So exactly. Like I think Potts is better than both those guys by a pretty good margin. So Potts will definitely be carrying the ball, and he'll be impressive. And I think we're going to be very strong, especially with the offensive line. But before we go to the O-line, the receiver room is kind of a mixed bag. I think Lambert Smith is kind of emerging as the first option. And then it's kind of a toss-up. I know I saw Cephas isn't even getting first team. He's not running with the ones, right?
Cephas hasn't run with the ones at all.
Yeah,
but I mean, you're talking about a kid who just got there in the summer, has to learn a whole new playbook. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, especially with the culture this team's built, you're not just going to let this kid come in and be like, hey, it's your world. You're just living in it. And then in the end, I mean, that's why we're not going after a lot of these big time NIL players. We're going after people who want to be here. I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be in that top 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's KLS 1, Harrison Wallace 2. I mean, then at 3,
it's really a toss-up.
Other than that, I mean, you've got Liam Clifford, you've got Omari Evans, you've got Cephas, you've got Malik McLean. I mean, it's all there, and like No one's really separated themselves. Caden Saunders, who was a top 100 recruit 2 years ago.
Mhm.
There's a lot of guys there. It's gonna be it's gonna be good competition. See who can come out of there on top.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the
I feel like we
competition
don't really know. Like, yeah. Sorry,
You
Jake.
go, Ro. That's my fault.
I was just gonna say, I feel like you said it's a mixed bag. I feel like we don't really know what we're gonna get until we start playing teams, and people start emerging. But I feel good. I feel good heading into the season with KLS as our number one option. I feel like he really started to take. I mean, I feel like he really started to emerge as the number one option last year. Like he could be it this year. And I've heard nothing but good things coming out of camp from him. I know he was the touchdown leader. Him and Drew were the touchdown leader from camp, so that gives me high hopes. But he's going up against two really good cornerbacks in camp every day, so that's just another thing that is another notch on his collar. But I think he can establish himself as a number one receiver, and I feel pretty confident with him being our number one. So I'm really excited to see who falls in line behind him, though. Like you said, it's just going to be a great competition and gonna be exciting to watch throughout the year how they emerge.
So Saturday, we come out in a 3 wide receiver set. What's your 3? Who's your slot? Like what?
I mean, KLS is the one. We know that for sure.
Yeah, I
And
think
then-
Trey Wallace is going to be number 2. I just think because he's experienced, and I just think he's emerged as the number 2 so far. I don't think he'll stay there.
Hey, that's 1, 2. Who do you now the 3? Who's going to play the slot?
It's going to be Clifford. It's going to be
I
Clifford.
know.
And they're going to be like, this is Sean
Experience
Clifford's brother.
standpoint.
I'm going to lose my mind. It's going to be Clifford, man. Is he like,
dude,
is he
Clifford's
good,
like
though?
6. He's 6'2", like 200. He's big bodied. I mean, he apparently is a great route runner, good solid hands. I mean, he showcased it a little last year.
Yeah,
Him and Drew have. I mean, they have a pretty good
Do have a
connection from running scout teams and stuff last year. He's gonna start. I'm telling you.
I think the way I look at Liam Clifford is kind of the
he's
same
got-
way as Sean. I think there's a set ceiling for him, and we can only see him go so far. Like I think he'll do everything right that he's supposed to, but again, I think somebody like Caden Saunders has much more of an upside, or even somebody like Amari Evans obviously is better than Liam Clifford, but I just think they have more of an upside than Liam does. But
Liam
could
Clifford
be wrong.
is the next
Hopefully he
Charlie
proves me wrong.
Jones, boys. He's
Yeah,
the next
yeah.
Charlie Jones.
Hopefully he can prove us wrong.
I think he was a 4-star recruit. He's a
They
90
gave him
4-7.
They gave him
Who?
a star just for
Liam Clifford was a 4-star. I didn't even know that.
The kid can play. The kid can play.
Yeah.
But
I just
talking about
trust
other
the
pass
game.
catchers. Other pass catchers, I mean, what might be the deepest room in the country.
in the country.
Oh yeah, and we're getting love from that media too. Those guys are unbelievable.
I mean, I think Theo Johnson's going to lead the team in touchdowns.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
absolutely. And then Warren might be second.
I was going to say, I think Tyler Warren's just going to be just as good. And he's going to be sneaky good, obviously. Teams aren't going to realize that we have a two-headed monster.
And then Khalil Dinkins, too. He's our third tight end. And then you have Rapalea, who was a top recruit coming in this year. And the buzz about him is that, he's got the body. He's ready to play. I mean, as the fourth tight end, he's probably not going to see snaps. Like, he's probably going to preserve a year of eligibility, barring injury.
Mm-hmm.
But kid can play. He can definitely play.
Yeah, Theo Johnson and Warren. I think Warren had he had like a handful of touchdowns, but he had like 8 catches or like 5 touchdowns, whatever it was. His touchdown ratio was nuts for his catches, and I think that's going to happen again. Like, you just throw those guys, you get into the red zone, Aller just throws it up to them and they'll get it. That's really all you need to do.
Yeah.
I mean, Aller threw that absolute seed to Warren against Purdue last year that he dropped. Yeah. But I mean, that was the moment I was like, we're fine.
We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess we'll jump now to because the tight end room is just so deep. It's gonna be so good, and it's just gonna be everyone's like, oh, who's gonna be your receiver? What's your receiver? I'm like, doesn't matter. You can put any
Yeah.
rotation of guys in there. The tight ends will catch the ball and they will block and they'll do whatever we need. And then the O line is pretty much a lot of guys are back. I'm very excited for the O line because they're very experienced. I know Olu gets talked about a lot, but again, the national I know that Penn State is in the national media's eyes, they'll be good, but people aren't realizing how good this line is going to be because how many? I think it's 3 or 4 starters. I forget the number honestly. I looked at it in front
Or
of me.
I think
returning.
it's 4,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, because you
Yeah,
just
that's what I
lost
thought.
Juice Scruggs. But Hunter Norzard is just popping into center. So then you're gonna have
Mhm.
JB Nelson and Lendon Tangwell at guard, and then you have Olu at left tackle, and then at right tackle you're gonna have Caden Wallace, and then that's not even talking about Drew Shelton, who filled in phenomenally at left tackle last year. I mean, they have a legitimate 2 deep at the tackle position, or at the tackle, at the guard position. I mean, you didn't talk about Vega Ione yet. And then on top of that, they brought in one of the best lineman recruiting classes that Penn State ever had. Javen Wallace was a top 10 recruit on some sites. He was a top 50 guy as an interior lineman. They think he can play tackle. Alex Birchmeyer was a top
Very
100
excited about him.
was a top 100 lineman. I mean, they're so deep in the trenches on at least on the offensive side. But it's this is the best offensive line that we've had since probably the 90s.
Yeah, which is crazy. I mean, it's crazy. This is why you get excited. This is the kind of stuff that people will overlook, but that's why we get excited because we have this great O line where O lines are so valuable in college. Where even if you have one guy that sucks, they will attack you. We don't really have any crazy weak spots. We have 5, 6 solid guys that can protect our young quarterback. And again, it's another year in Yurchich's offense, and he's just gonna just run the ball, ground and pound. He's gonna get out of the shot plays. So these guys will give him time, and they're gonna open up holes to the running game. It's very exciting, and we'll talk about the West Virginia game later on, but they're gonna tear up that defense.
I take that back. This is the best offensive line since 2005.
05.
05.
Let me hear that one.
Still almost 20 years, man.
That's still almost 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even I was going based off memory. I'm just thinking about that team.
Mhm.
I mean, that team only had the 1 loss to Michigan, and then that was the clock rules, all that nonsense. And then that was 2005. Was that the Texas USC Rose Bowl?
I think that was 2006.
It was 6. I think that was when USC beat the brakes off Oklahoma.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're right. But anyway, I mean, Penn State was the 3rd best team in the country that year. They were outside of whoever made the national championship. It was Penn State. But yeah. And then you just mentioned a great point. Another year in Yurcich's offense.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that.
I think that's super, super valuable.
Is this the first year that James has brought back both the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator? Is that not correct?
Since 2016 or something?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I saw
that's another thing that I think gets overlooked by non-hardos is that we have both of our offensive coordinator and our defensive coordinator who are both phenomenal, and who are both very bought into winning a national championship at Penn State. And I think that makes me excited at the end of the day more than most things, I think.
And this is kind of off topic and kind of moving off the rails, but how much longer are these guys going to stay here if we continue to succeed? I know Diaz is going to want to be a head coach, and if Yurcich gets a gig, he's going to go.
So
I think
realignment changes that dynamic.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
You're now only going to go to a power 2. You're only going to leave for a Big
and one
Ten
of those jobs
or an SEC job. And I think Manny Diaz's name still has a lot of stink on it from his time at Miami. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. I really don't. And because I don't see him, he's not a guy who's going to go rehab an image at a MAC school. He's going to wait. He's going to run this Penn
By his
State
time,
defense
yeah.
to be the best defense in the country. And then he's going to take a big time job.
Yeah.
As for Yurcich, I mean, I don't know. He's been around forever, I feel, in like just an OC. I mean,
Yeah,
but I
that's
just
true.
don't see guys like the realignment changes all that. I don't know if guys are going to jump. I think we might see a little more continuity.
I mean, I hope so.
Yeah.
I'd love to have both these guys for, like, to have Diaz run this defense for the next couple of years and like get recruits in would be massive for the program.
Especially being in this window that we're currently in right now, and from my point of view, I mean,
He's almost 50. So since we're talking about Manny defense, since we're talking about Manny Diaz and the defense, let's jump into the defense, which again, very excited. We're awesome last year, and we're like pretty young, Yeah, I mean, Abdul Carter's gonna come into his own in his second year. I know we lost a couple guys in the secondary, but I mean, Kalen King's gonna be awesome. So I guess we'll start from the line up.
All-American.
Yeah, Kalen King's going to be incredible. But let's start with I mean, Chop Robinson and Deez Isaac coming back, huge. Those guys were great last year. I just think that they're going to eat up O-lines all year.
I was gonna say I'd be scared to be a Big Ten quarterback. That's for sure.
Chop Robinson and Deez Isaac. The guy with the highest ceiling, you didn't even mention him yet.
Denied us. Yeah.
Yep, I want you guys to do it.
I mean, he's a former 5-star. The guy is a freak. I mean, in the blue-white game, you just watched him brutalize Drew Shelton, who held up very well in Big Ten play last year, and denied Dennis Sutton, made him look like he never played football before. And then, I mean, you've got Zariah Fisher coming back. You've still got Amin Vanover, too. I mean, we have a legit 3 deep on both sides at the end of guys that I think can and would produce at 90% of the schools in the country, if not more. I mean, they're just a bunch of dogs. I think D end is probably the deepest room we have. Like tight end, D end. I mean, it's those two. They're just so deep with just guys that would start at 90% of schools.
Yeah. And then I think as you start moving down the line, I think D tackle is somewhere that's, on kind of on the other hand and not as deep for us as far as my point of view goes. I do think there could be a little work done in the D tackle room. But I mean, we have a couple guys back. We have Beeman back, Zane Durant back. And I obviously have a couple new guys too. How do you guys think our D tackles are going to hold up?
I mean, that's the biggest worry with this team,
Yeah.
I think, is how they hold up there.
Yeah.
Obviously, Josh Pate does his Pate State rankings, his power ratings of how whether or not you would be favored on a neutral field. Penn State came in at 8. And he talked about his model that he uses, and he's like, my model, Drew Aller is going to be good. Drew Aller. I'm going to just go back and forth on which
nobody. I don't know either.
Nobody is there.
But the question mark for this team is at the D tackle position. I mean, James Franklin said they need to get bigger. I mean, he said that after the Michigan loss last year, and reading some stuff that some of the insiders have posted, it seems like a lot of those guys took that personally. I mean, you look at some weights, these guys are up. I mean, you've got Jordan Vandenberg, who said, he was like 310 pounds in the Outback Bowl 2 years ago, but he said he was like a fat 310. He then dropped, 20 pounds, and now he's put it all back on muscle. I mean, you guys have seen the weightlifting videos. That guy is a monster.
Yeah.
I hope it translates to the field. Keziah Izzard. I mean, there's a lot of guys there. They don't have a true one tech. They don't have a PJ Mustapher,
Right.
which is a little worrisome.
Yeah.
But Can these guys hold up against the run? We're going to find out pretty early on in the season when we play Illinois and Brett Bielema. I mean, I think he's going to come right at us, and that's going to be a very telling game for the rest of our season.
Yeah, I know that you're. We'll get into the schedule like right after we finish up the roster.
He's been
stuff.
talking about that
I
one.
know you're worried about Illinois. You've been with Illinois for a couple weeks now.
He's been chomping at the bit. He just wants the Illinois week.
Yeah, we can go to the linebacker position now. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about these guys. I know that again, like outside linebacker, we're pretty set with Abdul Carter and Curtis Jacobs. I'm excited about those guys. Carter's going to be an absolute animal this year, and
I think Curtis is going to be very under. I feel like nobody's talking about Curtis this offseason. I know Abdul's
Curtis
getting
is
all
going to
the.
be a.
He's getting all the
day,
spotlight.
He's going to be a day 2 pick.
Yeah,
he's
he
was really good last year. Yeah,
he's very smart. He's got a head for the ball. He's very fast. I think I love that we have him to pair with Abdul. I mean, Abdul's going to be Abdul, but Curtis is definitely going to be that guy that's this silent killer for us. So I'm excited for him
because they'll try to key on Abdul and then Curtis will just get right in there. And then I know Dom DeLuca kind of rounds that out. Who I like a slow player.
DeLuca's not going to start this year. It's going to be Kobe King. It's going to be Kobe King. I think Kobe King's finally separated himself
from Tyler Wilson, and
Diaz really, really likes, just like twitchy, fast guys. And Kobe King's not fast, but Dom DeLuca's just stuck in mud.
Yeah,
he'll
hit you, but
he's a great special teams guy, and he's special teams captain for a reason. I think Dom DeLuca is a great vocal leader for this team, but I think this is the year that we see Kobe King really like take a staple in the center of that defense, and I think Kobe King leads this team in tackles at the end of the year.
Yeah,
I like that prediction. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I mean, last year, kind of the way the defense would kind of go through is like you need the linebackers to be good. That's kind of was always the toss up for these games with the defense, especially the inside guys. Like, are they going to be able to get hats on the ball and get there and make their tackles? And like against Michigan, they couldn't. And that's why he got in the second half. But I think another year, Mandy has the defense, and they're gonna get better. That's just how it works when you're working in the system and when you're on this campus. These guys, you come back for another year, you're gonna be better. You may not. I know that we're talking about Lucas slow, but like these guys are gonna be better. So I think I'm more confident in them this year than I was last year, where we're kind of like, who's gonna play linebacker today? Who's gonna be more featured guy? I'm excited about this group. I think that obviously, like I've been saying, they're going to be better. But
I wanted to ask, do you think we're going to see any Tony Rojas? Do you think he's going to do you think it's a question that he burns his red shirt, or do you think we'll give him his 4 games and then we'll decide then, I guess?
I think he burns his red shirt without question.
You do think so? Yeah.
I mean, that guy,
I
mean, he came into a college system, a college weight room, college dietitian, and put on like 30 pounds of good weight.
He's way over
195, and he's sitting at 225 and just looks like a monster. I don't know how you keep that. I mean, as long as the kid can play and has the head on his shoulders, I don't know how you can keep someone who's that big and athletic off the field and see packages. I mean, if he can be half of what Abdul was last year as a freshman,
we'll be
crazy. Yeah. So we're looking good. The linebacker core, the group, lots to look forward to. Again, they got to stop the run game like we need in the past. And then the secondary, again, we lost Joey Porter Jr. We lost Tig. I'm confident, though. I know that Kalen King's going to be awesome. Johnny Dixon's going to be really good. And then I think Zachy Wheatley is going to kind of step up this year. I think he's going to be a lot better. But what do you got? How do you guys feel about the secondary?
I feel very confident about the cornerbacks, at least. I know I love Johnny Dixon. I love Obviously, Kalen King, like you said, he's an All-American preseason. So I mean, I feel very confident. I think they can cover anybody up and down the field. Safety is a different story. Obviously, we lost Tig, but again, we have Keaton Ellis and, like you said, Zakee Wheatley. Will hopefully step up and take more of a hand. But Keaton's very experienced. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but I think he knows how to play in this defense, and he's physical. He's in my mind, he's kind of like more of like a Marcus Allen than he's, more of a ball hawk. So he's going to come up and make the hit. But yeah, I mean, I don't think of it as more of a worry. Like I feel pretty confident. But Mo, I'll let you speak on it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think the safety position is going to be fine. I really do. They've had two guys. A lot of these guys have been there for years, so they've seen Jaquan Brisker. They've seen Tig work. They know what it takes to, be a dog in that defense. I mean, corner Dixon and King on the outside might be the best tandem in college football. If Johnny Dixon, I mean, he's a little handsy, but if he can, and I think there's going to be a couple times this year where we're going to just be screaming, like, why is he holding? But, like, at the end of the day.
Joey was also handsy, though, if you remember. He got on some guys at the top of the routes, and there was a couple questionable times where I thought he was going to get called, but he didn't. But, I like a corner that's physical, but, it does kind of come with, it's a double-edged coin. So it'll be those toss-ups, but.
Also, corner is just like a position where if you're seeing them, it's probably because something bad happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like
that is
why
very
he, like when you see Johnny Dixon on television and he's getting burned, you're like, well, why? What is going on? But you didn't see the 10 plays before where he had someone strapped up. So it's just such a weird position, especially to
it's like that paradox where Diggs in the NFL has 12 interceptions, but it's because they're throwing the ball towards him 15 times a game. Like, you're gonna have interceptions if they're throwing the ball your way.
And then Daquan Hardy's probably gonna be our slot corner. I don't think people are talking about him enough.
No.
Yeah, he's another one.
I think he's been around. I think Daquan Hardy. I mean, think about the big sacks that Johnny Dixon had last year. Like, I immediately go to that CJ Stroud sack. I mean, I know we lost the game, but him coming off the end there, like that was a thing of beauty. And I think Daquan Hardy can provide some of that spark. But other than that, a little scared about the depth at corner. We're very, very young. Other than them. I mean, we have the Mississippi State transfer, Davian Collins, Elliott Washington, Zion Tracy. Why can I think of the Florida kid from last year? He's
I know you're talking
Cameron. No. What's his name? Oh my God.
Radio. R.I.P. Storm Duck. Couldn't even make it out of camp.
Storm Duck. What? And then I also have you seen the preseason hype for Storm Duck? Like they're like top 10 corner in the country. Buddy couldn't even.
Oh, he couldn't get out of the freshman, man.
Oh my God, who was it? Cam Miller. He couldn't be like Cam Miller for cornerback 3.
Yeah.
Because Cam Miller runs. He was like a 4-4 guy when all of our times got leaked. Elliott Washington and Cam Wallace were like 4-3 guys. It's
checks out.
But yeah, no, we've got Cam Miller's gonna have the most experience there, other than Daquan, Johnny, and Kalen. Other than that, I mean, corner is a position where I'm a little worried if we. You get those cluster injuries, we could be seeing a lot of really young guys really early.
Yeah. I prefer not to, but we're gonna see them, and you just gotta kind of hope that they step up. But the other three are so good that hopefully we don't have to see too much of them. And no,
Just pray
nothing
for
bad
health.
happened, but
Yeah.
we'll just gotta hope for health. So I mean, defense is very exciting. Pretty much, the season's going to come down to the defense and the offensive line. If they play as well as we think they can, it's going to be a good year. So I guess what we can do is we'll go who we think the offensive MVP is, defensive MVP, who we think the most improved player is going to be, and then we'll do a little West Virginia talk, and then we'll jump into what we think how the rest of the season will go after West Virginia. We all know we're gonna be West Virginia, but for me, the offensive MVP, I think Kaytron Allen will be the offensive MVP this year. I think he's going to take a huge leap. Not a huge leap. He was awesome last year, but he's going to have so many touchdowns. He's just going to give him the ball inside the 20, and he's going to ground and pound, and then that's going to open up Drew. But I think Kaytron's going to shine this year. He's going to get more national hype. There's a chance that we have, like I think Aller could be getting, I don't know if we'll get Heisman looks, but I think Kaytron will be sneaking that conversation late in the year.
Yeah. I like that. Obviously both of our backs, I think, have a great shot to be our offensive MVP. They're just gonna, do their thing and be even better than they were last year. I think both of them go over 1,000 yards again, and probably each have at least 12 touchdowns. At least I hope.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm gonna go a different route for my offensive MVP. I'm gonna go Theo Johnson. I think we're gonna have to count on him in a lot of big spots. Down near the goal line when we need a big touchdown. I think he's going to be the guy that we look for. And I know Drew is going to feel very comfortable having him as his backfall to throw the ball to. And he's just going to go up and get it. So I think Theo Johnson is going to be the leader of our offense and really take hold in catching a lot of balls from Drew and scoring a lot of touchdowns, hopefully. So that's my pick.
I'm going to go something real different here. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be an MVP. Like you never look at this guy, but I really think this is the year that Hayden Wallace puts it all together. I think he's just, at that right tackle position. I just think we've been talking about him for so long. He's been a guy that's just been around. I just really want to see him, just put it all together. And I think he does. And if that's the case, and we have the bookends and Drew can stay in the pocket, I mean, watch out.
Watch
out. And then I'll roll that in for my most improved offense. I mean, I'm going to go same thing. It's going to be Caden.
That goes hand in hand. I think if he's our offensive MVP, he's going to be most improved. But I hope you're right. I definitely hope you're right.
I just realized I completely overlooked the special teams portion. I just glanced over it.
Yeah, right.
Well, we always we round out with special teams.
Yeah, we could have did that at the end.
Yeah, we'll do that at the end, and I will be scared of the kicking game all season. Defensive MVP, I'm going to steal your pick, Robbie. I'm going Curtis Jacobs. Just because there's so many guys that are obvious who you can pick. Chop. Besides Abdul Carter, Kalen King, I'm just gonna go with Curtis because again, if he, like we said before, if he can step up and be as good as we think he can be, that's just a lethal combination. And I think he can do it, and I think that he will be defensive MVP. And also most improved. I want those to win.
Okay. I like that pick. I was definitely going to pick Curtis for my defensive MVP, so I'll pick a different one. I'll actually go off of your point earlier. You did say this guy was going to lead our team in tackles, so I'll pick Kobe King. I desperately want somebody to step up and fill that linebacker spot. We're Penn State. We've always had that number one linebacker that is the anchor of our defense, and I just feel like it's not a hole in our defense, but I do feel like we just don't have that. Like I said, we don't have that superstar linebacker that really stands up and speaks for our defense. So I think Kobe King can fill that role, and I'm really looking for him to step up and take it. And I think it's his for the taking, so I just hope he does it. And I guess, going along with that, he would be most improved too because he just, was not like that last year, but I'm hoping he can be like that this year.
Defensive MVP, this is once again me pander picking to people that I need it to be because it's going to equate to success, and it
Yes.
needs Hakeem Beeman needs to just be an absolute menace and a wrecking ball.
Yep.
And that's it. I mean, if
That's it. Yeah.
if we get a Hakeem Beeman that's just an absolute wrecking ball, I think it was Indiana last year where he just was an absolute game wrecker. I know it was Indiana, but if we can get that consistently, I mean, it's over. It's over. 15 and out, book it.
You could argue that he is like, I know that we have a ton of guys, a ton of dogs that are like the most important players, obviously. But you could argue that how he plays is going to impact the defense most directly. Like he could be the most important defense. Absolutely, yeah.
Without a doubt.
Definitely.
I mean, it's him. Well, you can kind of put it to like 3 or 4 guys, like him, Devon Ellis, Zane Durant, Vandenberg, like those 4, and Keziah Izzard, like those 5. Their play is, I mean, it's going to mean everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's probably one of the few times we're going to be one of the few shows where we're going to be optimistic and think good thoughts, but let's it's going to happen. All right. So
I love being
we already
optimistic.
gave the most. Yeah, it's very rare. I was always optimistic before week 1, and then we'll beat West Virginia by like a touchdown, and we're going to be fucked.
Oh my
So
God.
we did offensive, defensive, and we lumped in the most improved. So we'll jump into a West Virginia preview, and then we'll go the rest of the season. Helmet stripe out, basically a whiteout with a little blue line in the middle. Under the lights in Beaver Stadium in Happy Valley, Penn State is a 20.5-point favorite, and I personally think they win this game by 35. I think they're going to smack West Virginia right in the mouth. I know we were talking West Virginia thinks they can win this game. They're going to come in obviously confident, but they don't have the dogs run with us. We're gonna smack them in the mouth early. They're not going to be. It's going to be so loud, and they're not going to hit them. So I really do think that we'll blow them out. I'm very excited for this game week 1, and at least it's not like we're not playing Delaware week 1 or UMass. It's not really I wouldn't call it a test, but it's a Power 5 team, Power 5. It's a Power 5 team.
Yeah, and a local team.
Smack in the mouth. People will be talking about it.
Yeah, definitely. I really don't think. I don't know why West Virginia has it in their heads that they have a chance to come into Beaver Stadium under the lights and get a win. However, I do think, I think they're going to come out and get like an early field goal or something like that and put us to the edge of our seats. But then I think we're going to blow them out of the water and score 4 in a row or something like that. And I think we beat them. We'll definitely cover. I think we'll beat them by 4 touchdowns. That's my least hope. I genuinely don't see them really scoring. I don't see them scoring touchdowns on our defense. And I think our offense will take care of business how they know how to.
Who's their quarterback? I mean, like
Derek
I don't
Green.
know.
Derek Green is their quarterback. West Virginia does have a very good offensive line. Their running back room's okay. I think this game's gonna be a bit of a snooze fest on both ends. I'm thinking like it's gonna be like 35-10. It's just gonna be a lot of ground and pound. I mean, their defense is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to run the ball all over them, shorten the game, 35-10, just walk out of there. It's not going to leave. It's not going to be a lot. It's going to leave a lot to be
discovered,
desired.
Still.
But
yeah, I can see that.
We're going to go in. Although, like, we could get Petty James. I don't know. Like,
I don't think. I think Yurcich will try to show. I mean, I guess it is his second year and everything. But I don't think he'll try to show all of his playbook in the first couple of games if he doesn't have to. Like you said, I think he's going to just try to grind and pound the ball, and just try to get out of there with a win.
I think. All right, so I think that Drew's going to have like not pedestrian numbers, but he's going to be like 18 for 23 for like 270 and a touchdown. and Nick and Katron are gonna run for like 300 combined and 4 touchdowns.
That's a lot of yards.
18 for 270.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's what he's gonna do. And I'm telling you, man.
There's gonna be a KLS 80-yard touchdown.
Dude, they're gonna have 85.
You gotta equate for that. You
That's
gotta have a equate for
15
that,
yards
yeah.
per attempt.
It's gonna.
Gosh, well, I wish I could bet that.
I like the ambition.
I mean, sure, I'll take it.
18 for 270.
Sure. Yeah.
So not to look past West Virginia, but looking to the games after West Virginia, how are we feeling? What are we thinking? I know Mo wants to talk about the Illinois game, and that's his first game
so
that he's
Delaware,
nervous for.
we're gonna stomp Delaware.
Yeah.
Illinois is the most terrifying game on the schedule. Dude, I'm not kidding. Dude, it's just so.
It is one of those games. It's one of those games that we lose. It is.
It's just so early. It's so early in the season. It's a road test. Bielema's a good coach. They're good in the trenches. I mean, there's going to be a lot of stuff there. It's a big test. I wouldn't say I'm nervous that we lose because I think we have 9 draft picks on our defense, 10, maybe 11, if you really want to go into it. Like we literally have a starting 11 people who are going to be on NFL rosters on defense. So, I mean, that's going to inevitably win us a lot of games, but that's going to be the first game where we're going to be like, hey, Drew.
It's a sweat.
Drew, it's going to be like, hey, Drew, like, we kind of need you to make a couple.
Do something.
It's
Yeah.
going to be the first time where it's going to be like, hey, Drew, like, we need you to do this. And, I mean, it's nerve-wracking. I think about it all the time, and it's terrifying. The game's terrifying on the road. I mean,
that meme? You know that meme there where it's like the guy that's sitting back in the chair and it's like he sits forward and stuff gets real. I think the Illinois game is the point where Penn State sits forward and starts to put the pedal on the gas.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Because I think they'll have to. Like you said, I think it'll be our first sweat game. You know what I mean? Like we won't feel like we're going to walk in there and just completely dominate them in all aspects of the game.
I could see it being kind of like how the Michigan State game was last year. Like, it's just really close, and then we pull away late. But, like, 1 or 2 plays in that Michigan State games were the difference. Like, the T formation where, then Nick motions out wide, and then they just do a quick running back screen and he scores on 4th and 3. If that goes 1 or 2, I mean, we don't get that. I think it was 19-16 we were up at the time or something like that. And then Michigan State has the ball with like 8 minutes to go and probably scores and we lose. But we score there, then we get another a pick or a fumble or something, and we score again, and we end up winning that game like 34-16.
Right.
But
it's just that turning point where we really need
you're going to look at that Illinois game, and there's going to be a play, and you're going to be like, this is where the season started, or this is where the season ended.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I don't like the latter, but
that's terrifying. It's their how's their defense? Like, I really wish I knew more about this team now, and I'm obviously gonna dive into.
They lost a lot in the secondary, but they're still good up front.
Okay,
because they lost what's his face, Sidney Brown. He got drafted by the Eagles. The corner, what is his name? Sidney Brown was the safety. The corner went like first round. No.
Yeah, I forget his name though, but he was a first rounder for sure. All right, so I can't. We got to worry about. And the thing is, like, I think
Devin Witherspoon.
Virginia.
Sorry.
All right, so let's look at. Are you gonna? We got to be paying close attention to Illinois the next 2 weeks, right? Dude, there's a chance Illinois could lose to Kansas. They might lose to Kansas. You think they'll lose to Kansas and then come beat us?
If they lose to Kansas, then I'll eat shit for everything I just said.
Okay.
But we don't want them to lose to Kansas.
Yeah, I don't want them to lose to Kansas.
Because in the 11-1 tiebreaker scenario, we need them to win 10 games or we need them to win at 9 games because Northwestern is going to go winless.
Yeah, I mean, what does help us though is that Michigan, their schedule is garbage.
Yeah, but they still play a better Big Ten West.
They do have a better Big Ten
because we have
Northwestern.
That's 0-12. That's not a win. There's not a win on their schedule.
That fucks us. All right, so I guess
even though we play Illinois and Iowa, which are 2 teams that are gonna be at the top, but it doesn't matter because Northwestern won't win a game.
Come on, Northwestern, you can do it.
Yeah,
just give us 1 or 2.
So is it the tiebreakers combined record of opponents?
It's going to be combined record of Big Ten West opponents is what it's going to come down to.
Northwestern wins 1 game.
We have to root for Northwestern, basically.
Northwestern needs to win 2 games probably, and then Iowa needs to win the Big Ten West.
They open up against,
and then Illinois needs to probably go 8-4.
I love that. This. All right, so dude, they have at least 1 win. Northwestern.
Cool.
They play Howard.
They can beat Howard.
They could beat Howard. They'll beat Howard, and then so they see win 2 games, and then UTEP. They can beat Howard at UTEP.
I think that's asking a lot.
We're big Northwestern fans.
Let's so after Illinois, Iowa, the whiteout. We won't.
I want to put Cade McNamara 6 feet under during that game.
Yeah, I feel like did he get hurt though? He'll be back, but did he get hurt?
Yeah, they said like soft tissue injury or something. They're keeping it close to the vest.
It'd be a real shame if it was Petrus. But don't we need Iowa to win the Big Ten West? Like what
yeah.
root for like 18 things.
Or just go 12-0.
That's the best option.
That'd be best. Yeah. That's best case. Yeah. All right. So, I mean, I would like to also bury Cade McNamara.
Yeah.
I think we'll beat Iowa. They just don't have the offensive firepower to run with us, especially in the whiteout.
Not in the whiteout, yeah.
No, I mean you saw it. This Iowa team is super comparable to that Iowa team that we were boat racing before Cliff got hurt.
Yes, exactly.
And if Cliff gets hurt in that game at home, we probably just win that game 28-7 anyway.
We saw the worst performance from a backup QB of all time during that game. So I really think we could have just went the Wildcat the rest of the game and been better off than putting Robinson in there.
It was crazy how bad he was.
What did he throw? 4 picks in
I don't even
6 series?
I don't even think he threw picks. I think he just
sure he threw it. I don't know.
I thought we just went 3 and out every drive.
Look it up.
All right, but this is 2023.
Not Robertson.
We'll be at home. So let's say, are we calling Illinois a win, or what are we doing?
Well, no, we're calling Illinois a win.
Illinois win. Iowa. Northwestern will beat. UMass will beat.
UMass first win and snapped a 24-game losing streak.
It was their first home opener win against a FBS or D1 opponent since like 1980 or something. It was something crazy.
I didn't realize they had their quarterback's a Clemson transfer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Tore his Achilles at Clemson.
And then
but yeah, no, I mean that's a win, obviously, but go UMass. Adam Brenneman, baby. Adam Brenneman, sponsor us.
And then we're 6-1. 6-0, excuse me. 6-0. Then we go into the shoe October 21st. Probably gonna be a primetime game. The way that I see
you mean big noon kickoff?
I don't think Fox has the game. I was looking at it yesterday, the other day. I don't think Fox has it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it might be game day, which would be huge because I don't want to go to another big new. I
No
can't go to
way, dude. There's no way ESPN would go to a Big Ten school.
Really?
No, not anymore with the TV rights.
Maybe it'll be CBS then.
It'll probably be CBS. It'll probably be the 3:30 slot.
That's fine by me.
Yeah, that's what I was
Like,
thinking.
the thing about the thing about Ohio State is that like this year we can run with them. I know they have that backfield that's really good. Their defense is always solid. They always have good guys in the secondary, and then Tommy Eichenberg can't move, but he'll tackle everybody. Big question mark at quarterback for them. Did they name a starter yet?
No,
So it's either
it's
going to be
gonna be Devin Brown. They would have already named. McCord's older.
Yeah.
He's been there. He played with Harrison in high school. Like, I feel
That's
like if
wild.
he would have been named the starter already if he'd really separated himself. It just makes me think it's going to be Devin Brown.
Now, do you think that's because McCord is just that bad, or they're like, oh my God, we're screwed?
I just think McCord, him going to Ohio State was always a reach for him.
Yeah,
I think. I mean, he was
good.
on that St. Joe's prep team, like Marvin. Like, he just had so much ridiculous talent around him. Like, I
Yeah.
just think it doesn't matter. I think you go Devin Brown, and he's going to wear like what, number 42 or 33 or something.
33, which is atrocious.
God.
It's so gross.
They're bad at tackle, which is like their starting tackle is a guy who was like super average at San Diego State last year.
Yeah, I mean, this is I just like I can't even. So I can't even like really say what I think is going to happen yet because obviously it's 7-8 weeks away, however many weeks away it is, and we know how these games go. We look good the first half, first 3 quarters, and then we shit the bed, and then
We run with Ohio State every year, no matter what.
Right
year
up
we run
until
with
the-
them. And I think that if there's a year to finally get the monkey off our back, it's this year, which scares me because I think apparently I was
It just makes it that much more
apparently
scary. Yeah.
I was with Joe Bonnecourt, and apparently I was so drunk that I guaranteed a Penn State win. And I was like, I said that, and he was like, "Yeah, you like looked me dead in the eyes and said that you guaranteed a win." And I was like, I don't remember doing that. That was
It's
not.
like, no.
I was like, no, I didn't say
I mean,
that.
let's be real though. They're unbelievably loaded at wide receiver that like
yeah.
we could go back there
Crazy.
and probably still throw for 200 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, they're unbelievably loaded. But I think I mean, we got to see how these guys play. See, Devin Brown could be legit, but I don't like a quarterback wearing 33. I hope he's terrible. But so what I think is going to happen is that I think, I hate to say it, I think we'll drop it. I think we drop this one. Ohio State.
We're not beating
Ohio
Ohio
State.
State at the shoe. We're not beating them at the shoe.
No, because if we Ohio State, we're going 12-0. Like there's no question about it. But it's just such a. I hate to say it, but we gotta be a little
Just
pessimistic
gotta
here.
beat
We
Michigan.
can't shout 12-0 from the rooftops.
Just mark the rest of the W's and let's talk about Michigan.
Indiana will beat. Oh, before we go to Michigan, what's this Maryland hype? What is all this Maryland hype?
Maryland has hype every year.
Julia
don't
for
understand
no
it,
reason.
bro. Dude, I mean, I watched them play Ohio State tough last year. Talia isn't very good, and they have receivers, but their defense stinks.
It's hype because what's gonna happen is they're gonna go like 8-4. They're gonna lose to us. They're gonna lose to Michigan. They're gonna lose to Ohio State. They're gonna play one of those 3 games really, really close.
Yeah.
It's
Like
one of
they
those
do every
3,
year.
like they do. They're gonna go 8-4. Everyone's gonna be like, Maryland's really building something, but they're just not on the level of the Big 3 in the Big Ten East. They just simply aren't.
No. I mean, realistically, it's the Big 2, and then us, and then a large gap, and then
Yeah. And then a
Michigan,
large gap.
whoever. Yeah, I mean, also like going to Maryland, whatever. I think at this, let me look at their schedule real quick. This is what we
Last time Maryland had this much hype for us coming to them was when
We
they
beat 'em
played on a
59
Friday and we
nothing.
beat them
yeah we
59
beat
nothing.
them. Yeah, all
Just
right.
there.
So they'll be 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. They'll probably beat Michigan State. Michigan State's gonna be dog water this year. 4-0, 5. They'll start 5-0. They'll probably beat Michigan State and Indiana, right?
Yeah. They'll start
Yeah,
5-0.
but
They'll probably be ranked like 18 in the
Yeah,
country.
and then they'll get beat by Ohio State will blow them out, and then they'll play Illinois, who, again, if we're worried about Illinois, I'm sure that they could drop that game. So we're looking at a 6-2, 7-1 Maryland team to go there, which
Yeah.
is going to get a
I
lot
mean,
of hype because
we need them to drop that Illinois game.
we need Illinois to win.
Yeah.
So I mean,
But
again, Maryland, like that play. I went to that building last year. There's just no juice in that place. So like, it's not a
No.
scary. Like, we'll beat them. I'm not worried about that. And then Michigan. So I think Brandon Walker, or whatever, he's talking to Mark Titus. He saw on the. I'm sure you guys saw it, but he said that it's a good point. Ohio State's built to win national championships, and then Michigan's built to beat Ohio State. So I think if we beat Ohio State, we're not losing to Michigan. Regardless, I think we'll beat Michigan just because we'll be at home. We'll need to win that game. And I just am so sold on the 11-1 three-way tie.
I'm just so sick and tired of the Penn State can't beat Michigan nonsense.
Yeah.
Penn State can't beat Michigan in Ann Arbor.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
We
When was the last?
like I think we're like we're 3-5 against Harbaugh. Like, it's not like and that's only because we lost the last 2 years in a row because the season got derailed in 21. Whatever.
Yeah, 21 was a mess, but like before,
And we
like,
still almost beat them. They had to score
Yeah.
a late fourth quarter touchdown to beat us.
yeah,
Eric
that-
Hall, actually, at Iowa now, scored that touchdown. It's
so
I'm just tired of the notion that we can't beat Michigan. We beat Michigan all the time.
the last 6 years we're 3-3 against them. Like it's very even, man. Because there was a stretch from 97 to like 2007 where they won 6 in a row. Like the last how many years this is? The last 15 years, it's like we beat them the COVID year because we both sucked. And then the last 21 was a disaster, and last year we fell apart. And 2017 we crushed them. They can't we'll be fine. What is that going to be? I know it's not going to be the whiteout. It's November. What is it going to be? Did they announce it?
Stripe out, probably.
Oh, strike out. Yeah. Which I mean, and then
There's gonna be so much juice there, though.
so much juice. It's going to be crazy. And then
that's gonna be big news.
yeah. And then I know that they're really good, but come on, we saw them get embarrassed by TCU, and I don't think this team is this team supposed to be better than that team last year? Because I thought last year was their best shot.
I'm pretty sure they have 8 NFL offensive linemen.
Yeah, which is we knew that. Also,
Yeah.
I don't love McCarthy. I think McCarthy gets way too much hype. It's because of the line. I don't think he's very good.
Yeah, I mean their offensive line is just disgusting.
Yeah.
All right, so and then we'll call it a win. We'll call it a win. Call it a win.
We got to
I mean,
give ourselves 11-1.
It's
I really do think we'll go 11-1 because Michigan State's dog water, and
then
Michigan State always scares me, but not this team. They're not good. This team.
Yeah.
So then 11-1, and then
Who's their quarterback?
I don't even know, man. That's a good question.
Peyton Thorne. Wait, can we talk just completely off topic? Peyton Thorne starting at Auburn and Graham Mertz starting at Florida.
Very funny.
What's going on?
So weird.
Very, very funny.
That they're both starting. I can't believe it.
I didn't even know Graham Mertz went to Florida until they announced
I didn't
it.
either.
Oh,
That's very funny.
Unbelievable.
It's so yeah. Well, so then we're 11-1. We're kind of at the mercy of the Big Ten West teams, right?
We're at the mercy of Northwestern. I mean, who does Ohio State and I've seen it on Twitter a million times, but like it comes down to the record of the 3 Big Ten West teams that all of us play.
Okay,
Ohio
so
State's-
Ohio State, Purdue.
Their teams are supposed to win like 22 games, and then Penn State's like
Minnesota. Purdue, Wisconsin,
It's
and
based
Minnesota.
based off Vegas win totals. We're way out of it.
Yeah. Well, we're right behind Michigan. I think it's like a half game we have, but then Ohio State's like their opponents are expected to have like 24 games.
Big Ten West team. So I mean, look,
Mhm.
is there a chance that? I mean,
Well, maybe they'll lose to one of them.
What if
no,
they got to go to Camp Randall?
To Camp Randall and Notre Dame. If they drop Notre Dame, we lose to them.
And then they lose Wisconsin. Okay. And now it's
Well, if they lose to Wisconsin, then hold up. We got to talk about the Big Ten championship because then can Wisconsin beat us then?
That's shit. Even I was
We're getting way too ahead of ourselves.
We're gonna win.
That's why I'd rather them just lose to Notre Dame. If Ohio State loses to Notre Dame, beats us, and then loses to Michigan, we beat Michigan, we go, no issue.
Perfect. Yeah, that's what's gonna
put
happen.
it out into the world now.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Trey Turner just hit another bomb.
I can't believe we just figured out the college football season.
So then we'll probably play Wisconsin or Iowa in the Big Ten championship.
Wisconsin or Iowa, yeah.
And then we'll win that game. We already beat Iowa. I'm not scared of Tanner Mordecai.
Okay, so we're Big Ten champs, and now we're in the playoff.
Big Ten champs, and then it's
we're
going to
Big
be
Ten
Georgia.
Champs.
Georgia.
We're probably 2.
It's us, and then
Notre Dame, Florida State, and in this situation, Notre Dame's probably there.
Yeah, because they
probably.
Oh, if we put Notre Dame,
Ohio State,
and then we get Notre Dame.
Oh my God, I would love to get Notre Dame.
That'd
be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
And then you get maybe Michigan at 4 to play Georgia.
Yeah,
that's okay.
And then
Alabama's.
And then we'll get it. And then we'll get into the national championship, and Georgia will beat the brakes off us.
That's fine though.
Dude, no, that's the worst thing that could happen.
No, it'll be closer than it was than TCU. That's all that matters.
If we get to the national championship and Georgia or Alabama is there and they beat the brakes off us, I'm gonna stop watching football.
There will be nothing to lose.
That'd be it for me. All right, yeah. So that's my prediction. We're gonna get in. So I knew the optimism would stop at some point. We're gonna get in, and then
we're just gonna get shit on by Georgia.
Stomp us in the national championship. I'm gonna go from the happiest, the most excited I've ever been in my life to the absolute lowest
epitome of sadness.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that's my prediction. What are you guys feeling? And then we'll wrap it up.
I feel like that was a group prediction.
I love that. Yeah. I think we're very much on the same page.
So,
it's a hopeful one, but it's one that can happen.
The official pod prediction: Penn State makes the national championship and gets stomped by Georgia or Alabama.
13-2, with a loss to Ohio State and a loss in the national championship.
Yeah, I'll take it. God, this is so bad. All right, that is our show at 4th and 5 Pod. I think that's our Twitter handle. I know it's on YouTube, but I honestly forgot. At 4th and 5 Pod, we'll be up all year. We're gonna do we'll have show and SoundCloud again. Hopefully we can try to get some stuff at the games. I know that I'll be at Ohio State. Mo will be at pretty much every game. Robbie will be at some games. So we'll see what we can do there. Thanks for listening and watching. We are.